All right, everybody. It is late. It is much later than I would ever like to post a video, but circumstances dictate it this time. Not much I can do when the game kicks off after 7 and it doesn't get done until after 10:30. Like, yeah, it is what it is. So, Seahawks win 27-19. It was a very weird game. It was a very peculiar game to talk about. There's a lot of different directions this one went, and Seattle was more or less in control the whole time, but it sure seemed like they kept putting off the moment where they actually packed the game away much later than it needed to be. So, kind of a weird one, also kind of a weird one because of some other sports related emotions in Seattle right now. I'll be right back. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you guys about Sleeper. I'll tell you a little secret as well. It's more than just a platform for fantasy leagues. This year, millions of users have enjoyed playing fantasy sports on Sleeper, but there's so much more to it. You have live stats, real-time updates of all stats. You have a news feed with lightning-fast updates on players and teams, and a real-time chat where you can engage with other users about plays, performances, games, all kinds of stuff during the sports season. So download Sleeper, experience it for yourself, and don't forget to use my promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit, and pair that with their new promo that will give you a free $20 entry, no deposit needed. So you can use both of those promos. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and going. So check out Sleeper today and use those promos. Welcome back. So yeah, this was a weird one. The way in which, where I was mentally when I watched this game was atypical of where I typically am when it comes to a Seahawks game. So I'm going to talk about it the best that I can. Obviously, I just did a post-game show on Bleacher Report talking about it, but things are not normal right now. And if you know, you know, but even if you don't know, you probably know at this point. So Seahawks win. They get a much-needed home victory to get to at least 500 at home. 5-2 going into the bye week. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good position for this team to be in. And I would have taken 5-2 going into the bye, no problem. And I think we're well positioned to do what we need to do to make the postseason in the second half of the season. But some weird stuff, man. By the way, I know I'm still a little bleached out over here on the face cam. Please ignore that. Still working with my settings. But anyway, so defense. All right, defense. Dialed in. Dialed the F in. My goodness. Not enough words in the dictionary to describe how locked in this defense was. They couldn't run, they couldn't throw, they couldn't convert short yardage. They couldn't do much of anything. For most of that game, the only success they had was throwing those little play action bootleg tight end runs out into the flat plays to mostly Dalton Schultz. And Schultz got his via that. Other than that, though, Houston felt like they couldn't do anything offensively, and I got to give a big shout out to McDonald because he didn't have all of his guys back. Contrary to the assumption leading into this game, there was no Devin Witherspoon and there was no Julian Love. Witherspoon was the really surprising one, though. So not having those two guys and still dialing things up like this, big props. Very well-timed blitzes, very creative, effective blitzes. The players, Ernest Jones, Drake Thomas, Nick Eamon-Wary, Tariq Woolen. And you guys know how I've been on Tariq Woolen all season, but that was a great game by him. What else? Leonard Williams, dominant. Byron Murphy. No sacks, but I know he had that big play in the backfield on the screen pass. Uchenna Nwosu. We had DeMarcus Lawrence get in there, man. It was the kind of stuff that you dreamed about when McDonald got here. he has built the kind of defense that you as a Seahawks fan dreamed about when we made the hire. And again, he's doing it without all of his guys out on the field. So this kind of dominance, that kind of defensive showcase should have been rewarded with like a 30-point win. And I know that sounds a little bit gluttonous maybe, but the way the defense played in this game, we probably should have beaten Houston by like 30 points. This game should have been over at halftime. So nothing but props to those guys. Maybe, maybe the penalties. You're not loving the penalty stuff. Josh Jobe, if there was a player to call out, maybe you'd start with him. He's shown that while he's a decent enough player to have around, if you rely on him too much, you're going to get bad results inevitably, I think. Like every time Houston felt like they needed a play, it seemed like they would just target whoever Jobe was covering. And sometimes Jobe was able to hang, but sometimes he really wasn't. So maybe that's the one guy you're looking at and you're going, okay, we're putting too much on him. We need to bump him down a little bit here. And we'll be able to do that when we get Devin Witherspoon. When Devin Witherspoon is back, we should be able to push Jobe down a little bit. He won't have to play quite as much. We won't have to put him in such dangerous situations, right? Other than that, though, who else are you really calling out defensively? Maybe Kobe Bryant, but we didn't give up any big plays, so how bad can it be? Even Ty Okada, man. And I would give Ty Okada a pass even if I thought he played badly because he's Ty Okada, but played good. He did fine. He did his thing. I actually thought he played a good game, more than anything. I know only 3 sacks on Stroud, but I thought we lived in the backfield. I thought we got a lot of consistent pressure on him. And, I mean, he had probably not one of the worst games of his career, but he had a game well below his typical standard. Houston could not run the ball at all. The only success running they really had were on C.J. Stroud's scrambles. He had 2 good scrambles in this game. Other than that, it was just not even 2 yards in a cloud of dust for the most part. It was not even that. And short yardage, my God. Houston kept going for it in these 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 situations, and they just tried to kind of sneak it past the line with a quick run, and nothing they did worked. Nothing they did found success. Over and over and over again, this run defense found a way. So, man, this defense is ready for a championship. And tonight, by the time you're watching this video, it's probably, last night, but tonight, as of me recording this video right here, right now, this defense was ready for a 30-point blowout, and we didn't get it. We got the win. We got a very impressive game. Got a game where we held a mediocre but not bad Houston offense to about 13 points. And it was enough. It was, but man, hard to not feel for those guys a little bit. Hard to not look at this and go, man, I wish we could have done them a little bit more justice with the way the offense played. And to a lesser extent, the special teams, I guess. But really, we're talking about the offense here. And this one's going to be kind of hard to talk about, right? But before I get to that, let me just say, defense, I can't say enough about how good they were. They impressed me, and I expected good things tonight, but they impressed me. All right, so offensively, hear me out. Hear me out. You're playing the Houston Texans, one of the best defenses in football, and we put up 27 points. Normally, you'd look at that and go, okay, we're good. That's a really good game. That's something that you're going to take home to mom and feel really proud about showing her. But after that game was over, I felt kind of empty inside. And no, it's not because of the Mariners, although I don't feel great about that right now. Excuse me. I'm not loving that part of it, but that's not the issue here. I just came away from this one feeling like, where was the offense feeding off the defense? We didn't really get that. We got it in the first quarter when the defense hadn't really even started feasting yet, right? Going up 14-0 on Houston in the first quarter. That was some big time stuff. But then you turtle up the rest of the game. You get into scoring range, you get into field goal range, and you run this stupid trick play to Cooper Kupp. And at that point, your offense was moving the ball pretty much at will. And I know Houston's defense is good. And I know that this team probably feels a little bit strangled because they don't have a lot of great options right now other than throwing it to JSN. But why are we putting the ball in the hands of players that are not Sam Darnold? Why are we telling Cooper Kupp to throw a pass when we have a quarterback that is playing like he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now? Whether or not you think Sam Darnold is, that's what he's playing like right now. Why is Cooper Kupp getting a throw when we're just about to basically put the game away? At that point, what was it, 14-0, 14-3? I think it might have been 14-0. You score even a field goal there, and it's going to feel like the game's over for Houston because their offense isn't good enough. You can start packing it away at that point. So you got that. You've got the inability to consistently run the ball. I mean, you look at the numbers at the end of the day and you're like, okay, we averaged 4 yards a carry on Houston. That's pretty good. But there were a couple of big carries, long carries that blew that average up. For a lot of this game, we just ran into the line of scrimmage and fell down. Walker was 2 yards in a cloud of dust all day until he got like 2 long carries at the end that kind of skewed things. And Charbonnet was a little bit better, but there's still, you can't count on this rushing attack at all right now, is what it feels like. So this is not the way this offense was supposed to be when we put it together. It's working right now. I think we're 4th in points scored or something like that. So I'm not saying it's not working right now, but when we signed Kubiak, when we signed Darnold, when we put together this offense in the offseason, the plan was to run the ball successfully. Right now, the Seahawks are doing a good job running the ball in terms of attempts. Like, they're running a very balanced offense, but in terms of consistently successfully running the ball, not really there yet. And when you combine that with the fact that we only have one reliable target in the passing game, I think you can see that this offense is being put in awkward situations where they feel like they need to run a dumb trick play with Cooper Kupp throwing a pass. Or they get at the end of that game, they're up by 2 scores with like 6-7 minutes left. They're trying to end the game. They don't feel comfortable just handing the ball off 3 times and grinding out first downs because they're not good enough at running the ball to consistently grind out those first downs. And you look at a game like this where JSN's great, and my God, JSN probably should win Offensive Player of the Year at this point. It's him and Jonathan Stewart. Feels like a 2-man race already, right? Or Jonathan Taylor, excuse me. But we integrate Elijah Arroyo a little bit into this passing attack, and he makes some nice plays early in this game. I liked what I see there. And then late in the game, he fumbles when we're trying to put the game away. So he puts the ball on the ground, and you're like, okay, can we depend on him? Like, the production for Arroyo hasn't been that good so far this year, but can he at least hold on to the ball when he gets it? Apparently not. Cooper Kupp has 1 catch, and he's going to have games like that from time to time where minimal contributions because he's old and he doesn't have his prime skill set anymore. So there are going to be times where Cooper Kupp just isn't really there for you. AJ Barner, now I think that AJ Barner, relatively reliable as a tight end 1 at this point, but 1 catch tonight. And it just feels like this whole offense is being kind of pinched down on because so much of what they do is just throw it to JSN. And JSN is coming through over and over and over again, but I do feel like that we need something else in this offense that works reliably. Like Torrey Horton, 2nd goose egg in a row. And Torrey Horton's great. Torrey Horton's doing his job on punt returns. I love Torrey Horton. But you're seeing that he's not at the point where we can just count on him from week to week. So that's kind of my concern right now with the offense. It just seems like there's not a lot going on for them after plan A. They have plan A, that works good, but what else? And the answer is right now it's just close your eyes and pray. And look, Houston has a great defense, right? I get it. They're not going to make it easy for you to find those other options. And there have been moments, right? Like AJ Barner's had good games this season. We've had some moments running the ball effectively, but this game was a great opportunity. Seattle goes up 14-0 in the first quarter. Great opportunity for this rushing attack to just go, okay, we're going to grind the rest of the game out. We're going to grind it out 4.5, 5.5 yards at a time. We're good. And they're not there yet. So you end up throwing the ball more than you want to. You end up turning it over a few times. And even though you're looking up at the end of the day and you're like, hey, we had 27 points on this Houston defense, you don't necessarily feel great about it. All right. Other than that, please let this be the last year for Jason Myers. That guy becoming so shaky. I'm already nervous about trying to get through these next 10 games plus with him. Please let this be the last year for Jason Myers. I don't think he has much left. Like, the blocked field goal was not really his fault, but the chip shot in the third quarter, God, that looked like that was going to fade. Like, he looked like he barely got that through. He was lucky that was such a short kick. And I don't know, he just makes me nervous now. And I wasn't nervous about Myers in most previous years. Well, ever since 2020, I guess. And yeah. So good win. For the most part, right? The defense, phenomenal. This defense is ready to go as far as you can go. I just don't know. I don't know about this offense. Like, it's a good offense. It can put up points. It can put up numbers. It can put up stats. But when you really need it, is there anything that this offense can really do reliably once JSN is getting bracketed? It's going to happen eventually. All right. Go Hawks. 5-2, headed to the bye week. See you guys soon. Everybody have a great rest of your day.